My stepsister hugged my mother at dinner and whispered, "Your daughter told me she wishes you were dead." I was standing right there when she said it. My stepsister Laurel had her arms wrapped around my mother in one of those long, dramatic hugs that she had perfected over the 2 years since her father married my mom. I was 3 feet away clearing the dinner table because I always clear the table. Laurel never cleared the table because Laurel had convinced everyone that she was too fragile for chores. She was 22 years old and too fragile to carry a plate to the sink. I heard her whisper it into my mother's ear. She told me she wishes you were dead. My mother's body went stiff. She pulled back from the hug and looked at Laurel with tears forming in her eyes. Then she looked at me. The look on her face was something I had never seen before. It was hurt and confusion and something that looked like fear. I asked what was wrong. My mother shook her head and walked out of the room without answering. Laurel watched her go with a sad expression that didn't reach her eyes. Then she turned to me and smiled, just for a second, just long enough for me to see it. Then the sad face came back and she followed my mother out of the kitchen. I stood there holding dirty dishes and trying to understand what had just happened. My mother avoided me for 3 days after that. She gave short answers when I asked her questions. She stopped sitting next to me on the couch during movie nights. She started closing her bedroom door when she saw me coming down the hallway. I asked her repeatedly what was wrong. She said nothing. She said she was just tired. She said I should spend more time with Laurel because Laurel really wanted us to be close. That was when I knew something was very wrong. My mother had never pushed me toward Laurel before because my mother knew I didn't like Laurel. I didn't like Laurel because Laurel was a liar. I had caught her in small lies since the day she moved in. She told her father that I ate the last of the ice cream when she had eaten it. She told my mother that I had insulted her outfit when I had said nothing. She told everyone that I refused to include her in plans when she was the one who declined every invitation. But those were small lies. Annoying lies. I never imagined she would tell a lie this big. I tried to talk to my mother again. I asked her directly if Laurel had said something about me. My mother started crying. She said she didn't want to talk about it. She said she just needed time. She said maybe I should stay with my father for a while. My parents had been divorced since I was 12. My father lived 40 minutes away, and I saw him every other weekend. My mother was suggesting I move out of my childhood home because of something Laurel had whispered in her ear. I went to find Laurel. She was in her bedroom, which used to be our guest room before she colonized it with pink curtains and fairy lights. I asked her what she told my mother. She looked at me with wide, innocent eyes and said she didn't know what I was talking about. I said I heard you whisper something at dinner. She said I must have misheard. I said I know you said something about me. She smiled again, that same smile from the kitchen. Then she said, maybe my mother was just finally seeing the real me. I asked what that meant. She said my mother had always wanted a daughter who appreciated her. She said my mother had always wanted someone who would stay close and take care of her and be her best friend. She said I was too independent and too distant and too focused on my own life. She said my mother deserved better. She said my mother deserved her. I told her she was insane. She said I was jealous. I left her room and went straight to my mother. I told her everything. I told her Laurel had been lying about me. I told her I never said I wished she was dead. I told her I loved her and I would never say anything like that. My mother looked at me with tired eyes and said Laurel had warned her I would deny it. She said Laurel had told her I would try to turn her against Laurel. She said Laurel had been so worried about telling her the truth because Laurel knew I would make her look like the bad guy. The trap was perfect. Laurel had set it up so that anything I said would only confirm what she had already planted. I was stuck. I moved in with my father that weekend. Not because I wanted to, but because my mother asked me to give her space. She said she needed time to process her feelings. She said maybe some distance would help our relationship. Laurel hugged me goodbye and said she hoped we could be close someday. My father was confused about why I had suddenly appeared with a suitcase. I told him everything. He believed me immediately because my father had never trusted Laurel. He said something about her eyes seemed empty. He was right. I stayed with my father for 2 months. During that time, I visited my mother twice. Both times, Laurel was there hovering around her like a shadow. Both times, my mother seemed distant and uncomfortable. Laurel had won. She had stolen my mother and there was nothing I could do about it. Then Laurel made a mistake. Full story on channel. Link below.